Hello there. This is a video that's designed to help you go through the activity where you take a file, download it to your computer, and in turn take that file and send it up to R for analysis. So if you have a data set that you may have in Excel, this is going to get us started in how you can get R to recognize that Excel file. So let's get started here. Okay, so what we're going to do here is the Chapter 5 activity in the syllabus. You'll see that it looks like this. I've talked a little bit about the correlation by eye example. You can click on that and find the correlations and guess those and send some screenshots. And the Clark and Lawson validity article is here. The activity document is what we're going to take a look at. And what we're going to do today is to talk about the data from figure 5.2. We're going to take that from an Excel file and put it up into RStudio Cloud. And then once it's in RStudio Cloud, we're going to bring it into R so that we do analyses with it. So if we come back to the syllabus page and we click on the head circumference spreadsheet, here it is. And what I need to do now is to download this file by left-clicking on File, coming over here to Download, and selecting Microsoft Excel. This then now puts the head circumference data in my download file. And then what I want to do is to come over to my RStudio session and make a new file as an R script. And what I want to do first is to take the data from where I downloaded it and put it up to the cloud. So to do that, I'll look up the lower right-hand box, click Upload, and underneath this, choose a file, and go to our Downloads file, and click the head circumference data set. And you'll now see that this Excel file is now available in the cloud for us. We're not done yet. We need to take this Excel file and now tell it, oh, and make this into an R data set. To do that, we're going to come up here to the Import data set in the upper right hand and say Import from Excel, and it's going to look on the cloud for it. We can browse, we can say, oh, here it is, head circumference. Let's import that thing. Now, if you'd like, there's some options here. If you have, for example, a spreadsheet that has lots of sheets on it, you can come in and say exactly the sheet that you want to import. By default, it will take the first one. You can also talk about how many rows you want to import. These little checkboxes say, hey, show me my data set when I'm done importing it, and use the first row as variable names. So we can now import. And sure enough, we get to see our data here. I put the correlation in as a separate cell. That's going to come inside of R as looking at as an individual number. Now we want to run the program that was supplied in the example. So we're going to make a new file, R script, and come over to our exercise here and locate the R code. And copy that, come over to RStudio Cloud, and paste it. Now, when you want to run things, you can just put the cursor on that line and hit the Run button, and it will show you an individual line of code run. So here we see the code for running the correlation between time 1 and time 2. We have 0.97. That matches pretty much the 0.97 that we imported from Excel. If I want to know what the confidence interval for that is, I call up the psychometric library, and then I use the CIR function. This gives me a 95% confidence interval. So the true correlation, the confidence interval is 0.12 up to around 1. It's a really large confidence interval because we have very few observations in our study. Now we want to make our fancy plot. So we'll call up ggplot2. And that device off thing is something that helps RStudio Cloud run. And you can ignore that error if you see it. Sometimes you won't. And we run our plot. So ggplot says that I'm going to use the head circumference data, and time 1 is my X and time 2 is my Y. geomploit makes dots for me. geomsmooth tells me, hey, I want to have a linear regression here and give me the standard errors around that. I didn't see any plot here. And the reason I didn't see any plot here is this plot has been written to something called headplot. So notice that it's over here on my right-hand side. It's got a whole bunch of stuff here that talks about how to plot this. And the reason I do that is I might want to add some twiddles, like label the axes in a fancy way or something. That we'll get to later if we want to. But for now, to see our picture, we just type the word headplot, hit the run button, and here's our picture. We can zoom that out and look at it. If you would like, you can then export this picture. You can save it as an image or a PDF. Because we're going to be pasting this into our Word document, we can save it as an image. And I might call it Chapter 6 Plot. And this gives me the height and the ratio on it. I can then save that. Now I've saved my picture. But again, we've saved this into the cloud. So now we're going to have to export that. So in order for me to save this to the computer, I'll need to come back in and select this file and come over to the More button, left click on that and say Export. Maybe give it a name. That's how I want it to be downloaded, and then hit the Download button. At which point, inside my Downloads file, I should see my picture. And from there, I can, inside of Word or Google Documents, whichever you prefer, insert that file. So for example, if I'm doing it inside of Google Docs, here's my document and I want to insert it. I can click the Insert button, insert an image, upload it from the computer to the cloud. Here's my SACS plot, and here's the document, and there's my picture. And there are some options down here if I want ever to align it to the left or right or have it appear in the text or outside the text, but you can play around with those things. The procedure is pretty much the same for Word, okay? Just you import that from your downloaded file. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.